Hello there. My headphones recently broke and I've noticed some improvements in my life that I want to share with you today after not replacing the headphones. Some context: the way that I would use the headphones most is when I was walking around for most of the day. I would have the headphones in, I'd be listening to YouTube videos, the classics, First Man, Hamza, Chris Williamson, Huberman Labs, Valuetainment, all the good ones. And for hours I'd walk and just listen and be digesting information. Hamza has a point where he thinks that to be a synthesizer of information you need to consume a lot before and bring it into your own life before you can teach it to other people, and I do agree with this. But I think you can reach a point where all you're doing is consuming information and you're not actually acting on the things that you're learning. So my headphones broke and I decided just not to replace them. I found an old pair of the cabled headphones where only one side worked. I used that for a bit and then that broke as well, and I just decided, okay, I'm just not going to have headphones and see what happens. And these are the benefits that I've had. The first one, it's not the main one, but it's a really good one, is I carried on walking around and I found myself concentrating on breathing a lot more. So consciously breathing in and out and meditating as I was walking, and it became a much more frequent thing that I was bringing into the day. And I really think that that's helped with the underlying level of anxiety that a lot of people feel. Not only that, but it's bloody good to be slow breathing and concentrating. It's so good for you. So that was an effect of not having the headphones, is that I was spending more time concentrating on breathing rather than concentrating on the podcast I was listening to. The next one, I've noticed a large increase in the number of ideas that I'm having. Not necessarily good ideas, but when I look back through the books that I write the ideas down in, there is an increase in the frequency. And I think that's because your mind has a chance to wander rather than be concentrating so heavily on the video that you're watching. So I ended up having more ideas. These ideas weren't just random ideas. These ideas have typically been, not all, but typically been around the core projects that I'm working on. And so having more ideas on the core projects that you're working on at a greater frequency, while also spending more time meditating and thinking, I believe is having a net positive effect on the work that I'm producing. At first, I was uncomfortable. Getting on the tube with no headphones and nothing to do and just thinking, oh, I'll sit there. You feel a bit self-conscious sat there, not listening to something or not having the protection of the earphones to make it look like you're doing something. Even in a bar, if I go to have a nice pint at the end of the day and I'm sat there on my own without the ability to sit there and concentrate on the phone, at first feel a bit uncomfortable. That has disappeared completely, and I now find myself sitting completely comfortable in most situations with other people around. And even, I'm a confident person, but even in social situations at the start where you feel a bit, I don't know what to talk, I've noticed that initial social anxiety is leaving slowly as well. The second thing I've noticed here, as well as feeling less uncomfortable, I've ended up having more conversations with people, which anyone that knows me will know that that's fairly hard to do anyway, because I talk to a hell of a lot of people. But I've ended up having more conversations, especially with people in cafes, where you walk in and instead of having to pull your headphone out, you're already ready to launch into the conversation. Or people walk past you in the park, you say a little something to them, you have a conversation. You're not locked in. It's very unlikely that if you walk past someone in the park and you've got your headphones in, it's very unlikely you'll say something to them. You may just go, everyone knows. So I've had more conversations. Does this mean that I no longer listen to any podcasts? No. What this means is there's a slightly higher barrier to listening to the podcast, which is I now listen to them on loudspeaker, not on the train. It's bloody rude to be on the train and be disturbing other people. Anyone watching this which uses a loudspeaker on a train, throw your phone out of the next train door. You don't deserve to have it, and in fact throw yourself off the train, not when it's moving, but just get off the train, take the next one. You've already upset people. Stop using your music on the train. It's so irritating. Anyway, back to the video. So I now listen to them. I won't get cancelled for that. Sales. The guy in sales tells loudspeaker players to jump off a train. You can see how bad that looks. Anyway, I just listen to it on loudspeaker and I hold it here, and that's comfortable enough that I can still digest the information as I'm walking around, but I'm a bit more present. Something I've just thought of as I'm saying this is you're actually more protected if your ears are open. You can hear threats coming. Not that we live in a society where there's threats all around, but there are threats around, and you're more aware of it if your ears are open. Let me go through these one more time as a skim. Where is it? Yeah. Breathing improved. I'm having more ideas. These ideas are more focused on the projects that I really want to work on. I'm no longer uncomfortable sat doing nothing in a social situation. I'm having more conversations, and you're more protected. So yeah, give it a try and let me know how you think. Let me know what you think about it. It's just a simple video, this really. Headphones broke, saw some improvement. Always add value.